A moment frozen in time. The camera slowly spins around the cunning, calculating figure of Lord Gunvar of Ashbrook and brings into view the controlled, considered faces of Loftar, Torg and Sirk as they consider the real question put to them. Will you work with me to bring about the downfall of your people? Behind those faces, thoughts race and guts flood with emotion. Lives have been lost to defend what they are going to agree to tear down. Will they be tainted even as they lie for the greater good? It is in moments like this that we learn who we really are. We learn this by discovering what direction we choose when the consequences are grave and the path imperiled on all sides. When the options of our lives narrow and we can only say yea or nay. It will come to pass in a time not far from this moment, frozen as it is in front of us, that wisdom will be granted to another, imperiled by the accident of being in a particular place at a particular time. I wish it need not have happened in my time, said Frodo. So do I, said Gandalf, and so do all who live to see such times. But that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given us. The faces in front of us harden in the decision. Aye, they say, we are with you to bring about the ruin of our kinsfolk. Does it even matter to the recorder of events that as the words are spoken, their fingers are crossed behind their backs? Hello and welcome to Mostly Off Topic Plays Laughter of Dragons, episode 13, session 7, for those who are interested in keeping count. Me, for instance, because otherwise my notes get well out of whack. I'm joined by Ben.
Hello.
Good. The audio is working. Hi, Joe.
Hello.
And Matt.
Good evening.
Who has suddenly become incredibly posh and never quite sure why. Okay, so just going to cover off the stuff that I normally cover off at this point. So welcome everybody. Thank you for watching. If you're on stream or joining stream or what have you, that's really cool. Please hit us up in chat. Ben monitors chat for us, so he'll pull out and pick up anything of any interest. If you're watching this on YouTube, then leave us a comment. That would be cool. We like that. Leave us a like. Likes are good because it helps people find us. I'm not going to do any like hit us up down below or any of that stuff. Kenny, if he comes in, will possibly do that for us. So we're playing Laughter of Dragons for the One Ring role-playing game, and therefore there are spoilers. We play it quite tight to the book, so it's highly likely that if you're playing through the campaign, you will come across these scenes, and there are some spoilers. It might even be that your lore master is just running stuff around Dale and Erebor and therefore incorporating some of the material. So just be warned, I guess. The stream and the YouTube video get interrupted when my lad comes in to join us. So if the stream comes up, if it's got a picture of like Erebor, we'll be back. We will be back. Maybe go and grab a beer for yourself. Yeah, that feels like the kind of thing that most people should do at that point. And if you've just seen me stop and then there's a really bad edit and then it starts up again, that's where Kenny was, for those who are watching the recording. And yes, thank you for generally being awesome. It's lovely to see that there's a level of appreciation for what we're producing. I know I say, well, we would be playing anyway, but I think I possibly would have called off this session if we weren't recording because I'm just tired. But I was like, no, we must be there for our audience, both of them. And there we have it. Okay. Does anybody actually know what happened last time? This isn't a test, by the way. This isn't. I'm not going to mark any scorecards.
I've got a pretty good idea. Yes, we were snooping around looking for some kind of noble who might have instigated
Yeah.
The attack on the original attack on Balin, which involved a boat, and we ended up with 3, possibly 4 key suspects. Investigated someone called Lord Gunvar, who invited us to dinner with the kind of vague notion of doing business with us. We get there immediately. We are asked to leave our weapons at the door, which is besmirches the entire culture of the dwarves, and fed a passable meal, indulged in idle chit chat, and then finally Lord Gunvar reveals that he wants to enlist us in the complete destruction and obliteration of the dwarven culture.
Yeah, he made us an offer we couldn't refuse.
So clearly we said yes. I don't know if we have said yes yet, actually. I think we had a dramatic cliffhanger.
Of debate.
Maybe if I didn't mute myself, that would be helpful. Okay. I seem to recall you saying yes, but I could have just played the video. There we have it.
I think we agreed to it very.
You got video footage of Torg saying yes to the destruction of.
I think
of the
so. I
dwarves.
think I've passed it through to your impeachment inquiry, actually.
Fake news.
Right, okay, remember, even though that situation may be resolving itself, we are not politicising the stream / video more than I do through the art of narrative fiction. That is a really good summary, Joe. You paid more attention to it than I may have done. Okay.
I remembered to open up my notes and have a quick look. So
Good work.
Well,
So
for once,
yeah. So then, what is the objective of this session today? Then, what as a group do you want to achieve?
How ambitious we feeling?
obliterate the dwarves. Just let's do it. Let's destroy them. You know?
I was thinking of destroying maybe Lord Gunvar, or just stopping on his foot a little bit.
Yeah, I think the main
little. So little, and we could say, get word out that this thing's about to happen. Big, try and actively stop it ourselves.
I seem to remember that we don't have any windows of opportunity to go and tell Lord Balin, although we do have the Raven, right?
Yeah, we've got
Thrush.
little.
So we need to.
Thrush.
Oh, a thrush. Yeah, we've all got thrush.
Get some canisters.
Sorry. So I suggest that our immediate goals are around warning Balin and the toy maker guy.
Terrible toy maker,
Yeah. Throne.
Who is called
Throne.
uh,
Throne.
I think he
he's
might be
called Thrun,
Thrun.
that's right, yeah.
yeah.
Thrun. He's called Thrun.
I have to say, I like your.
So I reckon we need to get the word out to
Yeah, sorry, go on, John.
and then the kind of slightly more medium term goal is to deceive Lord Gudrun and not play into his hand.
Do we want
So to basically identify his. Do we what?
Do we want to try and stick spanners in the works of his plans?
Yeah, we want to fuck him up. Sorry, we want to mess with his scheme. Yeah,
Okay.
we don't want him to succeed. We don't want the obliteration of dwarves.
Well, they're only destroying one forge. It's not like they're genociding a people.
Just a wafer-thin forge.
It would probably banish us forever. We would have to live like in Mordor somewhere. Be like.
Oh man, we'd get hit with the band stick so hard.
We can go down south though. It's kind of nice there.
I like the sound of Rune. I like the sound of Rune. I hear they've got some nice burly merchants with magic needles.
It's Torg's making a real 180 here, isn't he?
He's rediscovering himself, yeah, in many ways.
All it took was someone actually making ask that hard question.
Yeah,
How
that's
much
right.
do you actually bothered about them? Turns out not so much.
Okay, so the fellowship pool has refreshed, and you have got objectives. Firstly, seek to warn Balin, and secondly, to, and I quote, fuck him up with regards to Gunvar, and also possibly to kind of like head and find some burly merchants if it all really doesn't work out for you in other places. Kind of
Well,
like
maybe
That's actually
how
a,
Torg celebrates.
that's a secret. That's a secret objective for Torg at this point.
okay, we
Um,
don't.
Paul,
out.
sorry,
Yes, Loftar.
bit of an admin question.
Yeah.
Did we get experience? I did make a note of
yes,
the question
course,
mark.
I forgot experience,
but-
didn't I, last time? Yes, you do get experience. So you got one for turning up. Do you get one for achieving your objectives? Because you achieved your objectives, which, as I recall, were to do stuff.
And then one for being particularly Tolkien-y or representing your character in a good way or doing something cool, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, I think everybody can have one of those. I think I'm just trying to the various things stick in my mind about the last session. I think Torg's remonstration with the gatekeeper about his weapon was very particularly in keeping there. I'm trying to remember. All the sessions blur into one for me a little bit, if I'm entirely honest. The paranoia of the group when Domi was leaving. that was quite fun and interesting. And I think that Loftar continuing to investigate and track around was pretty good. And Sirk being Sirk, frankly.
Yeah, saying the wrong thing at the wrong time to the wrong people.
Yeah, I don't think, and just being like, I didn't bring any weapons anyway, so what the hell are you guys arguing about?
Weapons to dinner. It's rude.
Yes. Okay, so we'll start the session. I think you did accept Lord Gunvar's offer to join.
We've got to accept it. We have to say yes. There's no way
we
we
did anyway, because you guys had to make rolls for how good your deception was on
that's
the bit.
right. Yeah, that's right. You did. And Gunvar, a wise decision. Now I have activities that I must prepare for. Amund, and he summons one of his men, the gatekeeper. They are with us. Return their weapons to them. Gentlemen, and he turns to some of his men who had come through the door. So your agreement was perhaps solicited under threat. You can possibly get that in the impeachment trials. We must prepare ourselves. We still have a few hours before we need to ride. Do not leave the grounds. And then he kind of turns and says, Excellent. My lord will be pleased. And strides out. Amund returns your weapons to you. Hands you, Sirk, a short sword. Passes cloaks. It'll be cold in the night. You'll need mounts as well, I suspect. You came on a cart, didn't you?
It didn't stay though.
Yeah, I'll arrange mounts. Don't go snooping around. Yeah, stay in this hall, or if you need the facilities, then you can use the servants' middens across the way, just by the forge.
I'll take my pipe out. I wish to take in the night air, if I may, after such a fine meal your lord has given to us this evening. Tell me, where is the most peaceful garden in your lord's grounds?
He looks at you, eyes you up. There's a herb garden just by the kitchen. It'll be peaceful now.
Right. The herb garden, then. Thank you. Will you join me, fellows? Wink, wink.
Sure. That sounds like a very wise idea. Bit of a fresh air.
And even in constitutional, sure.
Algar, walk with them. One of the men steps forward.
The more the merrier.
But before we do, I do think I'll take up your offer to use the facilities.
Algar, this figure that's kind of come off looks maybe early 20s. Not yet got a thick beard, sandy brown hair. Has a little bit of a light of intelligence behind his eyes, but perhaps not the sharpest spear in the phalanx. I've just made that phrase up. But anyway, it's not the sharpest spear in the spear wall. But he kind of like comes with you. Doesn't say much.
Okay.
There you go. Points out a row of middens to you, Sirk.
You'd passed me the bird thing, hadn't you? Didn't you pass me while we were dressed in our armour that they'd lent us?
Who are you asking?
Who has it? I don't know.
You had it. Did we establish that you'd passed me it during the armour placing on?
I have no idea.
I don't think we had.
I have no idea.
I think what was happening is
I don't
you
think
guys...
we've worked that out.
Yeah, I think you guys were trying to kind of like think of a way to kind of get the bird, and that's where I said, look, you really just don't have opportunity at this moment in time.
In that case,
Yeah.
Don't have it, and I'll go use the toilet normally then.
The toilet normally.
I mean, if I did have it, I'd have sent it off while we're in there. But...
Can you role play this?
Yeah.
I'm not really believing it. I need to see the role
it's
play.
all right. So I walk over to the toilet.
I'll let you spit it out, don't worry.
I shut the door.
I won't. Oh, there we go. Shut the
No, it's
door.
gone. Do not disturb. In use.
And then 3
Engage.
to 7 minutes later, I come out.
Oh, thanks. Yep. Off. We must take the air. Come.
Not this air.
I can't recall this level of
this way.
humour in my copy of Lord of the Rings, but move along.
I think Christopher Tolkien put some of it into. Well, maybe it's in the fan fiction. I don't know. Yeah. So
It's
past the
gonna have
kitchen,
to
you
be.
say.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
just the just around the corner. The kitchen is just on the edge there. So remember, there's a dominant double-story building within the walls, and there's not much greenery or kind of or plant space around. And the kitchen, it's a kitchen garden, so it's got all the herbs and plants that would be used in the kitchen. Very small walls, kind of probably come up to your waist, laid out in 4 beds with a what looks to be a bird pool in the centre of it. The bird pool looks ornate and well maintained. And then you get thyme and sage and some of the greenery just poking their leaves through, a thatch of parsley and some coriander, you think, over there.
Does anyone have herb lore? I mean, Alleric would love it here.
Oh, Alleric could probably be nicking it right now. I mean,
Our favourite woodman.
the ex-herb garden that used to be here.
I'll have some of that.
It's just
Like
The gypsy-
straight in my basket.
these magical herbs.
The gypsy king investigator.
Yeah.
So yeah, no one's got herb lore, have they? How about we need to deceive this guy. So basically, we've got to distract him some way.
How
So
about Sir can talk about the architectural features of the building that we're standing by and generally about the castle. Can
Yeah,
we
that's
talk like amongst ourselves in Dwarven, right?
It has no flair or art to it.
No, I know, but sorry, just to add to that. We're okay to communicate in Dwarven amongst ourselves, right? So the idiots can't understand what we're saying and can listen to our plans.
I mean, we do have Dwarven language. He's going to get suspicious if we do too much of that, though. So
I just wanted to say
we can
about
also use
yeah. I just
we
wanted
can
to
also
say
use
about
a
the
little bit of.
architectural features.
Okay, so you want to tell Sirk to start talking about the architecture? Okay.
That's yeah.
I mean, I'm yeah. So I'm carrying the thrush. Is that right?
Yeah.
You've definitely got through.
I have it hidden about my person.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, the fact that there's a bird table gives us a bit of a focal point there, I think.
Yeah, so you kind of gather naturally in the centre of the crossroads, kind of clustered around the water bowl, white stone water bowl. The figure stands at the edge. So
okay,
talking sotto voce, you could you probably wouldn't be overheard even if you were talking in the common tongue.
Okay. Well, I mean, first things first. I'll get my tobacco into my pipe and start to light that. And look at the stars, taking the air.
It's
maybe pick a few of the herbs and smell them.
It's a fairly clear night. The stars kind of up there in their constellations, clouds kind of racing across. The moon is 3/4 full, so shedding its silvery light on there. There's an orange glow coming from the dining room that you were in, and flickering light of the fire there. And there is activity happening around. You can hear horses starting to kind of be prepared. Many more figures are starting to kind of come out of various places. Small groups gathering together, talking quite quietly, as you would naturally do in the darkness. The whole thing's a walled compound. In any case, with this tower in one corner, and then the main dominant building there. Make awareness rolls, everybody, as you're kind of like taking in the scene.
Yeah, this always goes really well with my one die. 7.
5.
15, normal.
Yeah, so Torg and Loftar, you guys have seen everything I've just kind of like described, and the figure isn't paying masses of attention to you. He'll kind of like look across at you and check you haven't drawn a sword and are threatening to attack or anything. Every so often somebody will come by and just have a quick chat with him. If you listen in, it's kind of like meaningless talk. It's almost kind of like people preparing each other. One of the older fellows comes along and grabs him by the shoulder and says, "You'll be all right. You'll do fine." Sirk, as you're kind of like looking around, you are attracted to the architecture of the tower a little bit, and you kind of, it's not that far away from you, and the moonlight comes down and you catch the relief of the moonlight on the stone, and kind of faded away. In the stone, weathered over many years, you would imagine, there is a what looks to be a rune of some description, or a mark, or a shield mark. And what attracts your attention to it is it's very much like, if not the same as, the mark that you saw last year, where you fought the orcs in the swamp. And if you remember, there was a keystone that had a mark upon it. Make a lore roll.
Regular.
How much? Sorry.
15.
1-5.
1-5.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So it's very clearly a rune of the race of man. But not a current thing. You haven't seen anything of it in Dale, especially, and it does look really quite weathered. There's a single vertical line and then about a third of the way down the vertical line, on either side of that line, there are 2 circles, and those circles have crosses within them, and the whole thing is enclosed within an oval. And the crosses are kind of like multiplication symbols rather than addition symbols. So they're diagonal
like
crosses.
The dead emoji.
Yeah. I don't know what the dead emoji looks like, if I'm entirely honest. Yeah, so that's kind of what you notice as you're kind of like glancing around and such like. I'm now trying to have a look at what the dead emoji looks like.
Is there anything over that way?
Over which way, sorry?
Is it like easily accessible?
Oh yeah, you can leave the small. Okay, yeah, yes, it's kind of like that. Yeah, you can leave and walk or wander over there. You're not like gated in or anything, and it's part of the fabric of the manor.
Yeah, I'll go just feel the stonework, see if there's anything else kind of.
Oh, hey! The figure who's guarding you comes across as you're going over there. What are you about? He's got his back to you, Torg and Loftar.
Point out and start talking to him in depth about the history of it and what I know and what it could mean and where it's from and how old it is and what I think the keep was and kind of like the establishing essentially kind of basically I'll go full Sirk lecture mode.
Yeah, okay.
And
from the base stones up and start trying to explain to him the kind of how many different years worth of architecture there is in front of us.
And if there's a window of opportunity here, Torg is going to take the mechanical thrush out of his cloak and start to. I'm guessing there's some kind of mechanism I need to activate, and also, yes. I mean, do I speak into it? Is that how it works?
You wind it up. But the idea is that you write a message and attach a message to it. Otherwise, you've just sent the bird back, and it can't do anything.
Okay, so we have to have a written note.
You can send it, but this is just a carryover from last session. Last session, you were talking about needing to write a note, and Sirk was kind of like said, "I've got paper, I've got stuff to write with. Yeah, let's write a note." So you guys know you have to write a note.
Okay. So, I mean, do Loftar all right? Is it viable that we would have pencil and paper? Loftar being the investigator.
Any traits or anything?
Not really.
Haven't you both got crafting? You'd have had, like, presumably you draft drawings when you craft something.
I guess I could, yeah. Pretty good at craft, so.
I mean, Torg occasionally sings. He has a song of one, so it's possible that he would have some poems and things about him. I don't think Torg's going to have paper, really.
So, Torg, I think I need to go and have a look if I can get my weapons fixed a little bit. I noticed a couple of issues. So, in the dwarven tongue, in a quieter voice, I'm saying I'm going to just wander off and try to find armory, wink, wink, to fix my weapons, wink, wink. Just wander off. They're going to...
Please tell me Torg, Loftar actually says wink, wink, rather than winking.
Yeah, no, I just put it in. I don't know if you're allowed to use wink, wink in Tolkien, world. Anyway, so yes, that's kind of what I'm trying to essentially do. Because a little bit of diversion. Yeah, the guy's going to turn away and say, "Oh, what the hell are you going?" And I'm just.
Well, the guy is deep in conversation with Sirk,
yeah.
And by
why
deep
don't?
in,
Why don't?
I was saying, and by deep in conversation.
I was going to say why.
You go.
Why doesn't Loftar go and intervene and save this young fellow from being bored to death by Sirk, so Sirk can come over here, wink wink,
You could also tell him
I'm happy
about
to do
your
it.
wild experience of various battles, if it's even of his first night of battle.
I mean,
Sure.
he's a
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I take Torg's point and walk over to them and put my I can't put my arm around sort of people because I'm quite low.
Put your arm around his waist.
Yeah, that
Around
would
his
be
knees.
less. That would be even less appropriate. Now I'll just say, now listen, Sirk. This has been all jolly good, and we've had fun listening to this building. But you're boring the young lad to death. Let me tell him a different story. Oh,
I'm not boring
please.
you, am I?
Oh no! Please don't take it the wrong way. That's not what I meant to say.
He doesn't quite know how to manage this.
Let me tell you the story about the Battle of the Five Armies and how we have defeated the evil
I'll give you a
creatures.
clue. Loftar wins at the end.
Sirk.
So, so while Torg is making a sort of sending a message to Sirk, I'm starting to sort of weave in the story of how obviously this is all from dwarven perspective, so there's much glory that I have brought to the battle, myself obviously being a very modest dwarf, and I also tell how it was absolutely fundamental. However, I also say how it was very important to rely on the man, and we worked together in cooperation. So, being a little bit full of myself, but also building a strong link between the race of dwarves and man, just to make him feel a little bit better and tell him how there were many heroic aspects of the humans, sort of, sorry, I've lost it now.
Make an ore roll. Make an ore roll.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
this is like the Saturday kid who was stacking shelves, and suddenly a load of rowdy football fans have come in. He doesn't quite know how to manage that.
Yes, but that's not very good because I only got 4.
A 4.
So
okay.
It's very poor.
This is all well and good, but could you all come together? So you've got a small moment where he's kind of like a little bit confused. Loftar hasn't quite got his attention, but he hasn't kind of like he's not focused at this moment in time.
No, I need to invest in ore, but yeah, that's the opportunity is slipping away.
Can I step in to aid the distraction technique? Well, so is Sirk kind of away from him in a place where he can get a note together?
I'm looking at the wall.
So Sirk is over now, by the. So Sirk made his way, maybe about half of the way towards the tower. The figure kind of called him and stopped. Loftar has kind of wandered over, put his arm around him, and kind of like has naturally kind of dragged him a little bit away from Sirk, and has orientated him to be facing back towards the herb garden. So Sirk, I think, possibly quite naturally would wander forward towards the wall. So yes, so you can.
I have beckoned him.
I'm walking towards the wall, and I've got a bit of parchment out to do a rubbing of this rune with a bit of charcoal. You can come join me and look at the wall if you wish.
Loftar at this moment in time is trying to convince this kid to listen. The kid's kind of like look and just trying to bring a degree of control to the chaos.
I'm not sure if I have a chance for a different approach. How susceptible is he to a different tactic?
What's your other tactic?
So I want to sort of start I guess Loftar investigates. A little line of question here. So how long have you worked for your lord? So I'm leaning towards Riddle. I'll try to sort of weave the story, but I'm trying to lean towards Riddle in a way that I don't want to be out front with what I want to find out, but there are too many questions because there's a reason why I'm doing it.
And what's
so
Torg,
tell
what's,
me
sorry. So what's Torg doing at the moment?
Torg is just kind of looking exasperated at the whole thing. I don't know what else I can do, really. I mean, I can try and distract, but I guess if Sirk... The rubbing. Okay.
I'm on wall, rubbing.
Okay, right, okay.
We're
Wink,
gonna
wink, rubbing. Yeah, so I'm going to just walk nonchalantly past Loftar and the young guard and kind of shrug and look interestedly at my pipe and the wee carvings on its bowl.
A couple of men,
and then come and.
I say a couple of men kind of like walk past you and pay you a little bit of heed, but not much heed as they kind of like go. You see the swords underneath their cloaks.
Yeah, I'm just kind of interested in the sort of burning down remnants of the tobacco. Maybe I'll tap this out and start a new bowl. Good evening.
Let's have a riddle roll then, Loftar.
Okay.
Is cat herding?
I can
going as well as he would
take
like?
him on a journey here. I will. I've got 12, so I'm spending a point of hope because I want to get that in. So my line of question is: so how long have you worked for Lord Gunvar? What does he? Where does he make his money? That kind of trying to get a little background on. I mean, I'm happy to have a proper chat about this, or just trying to find out information to see how much he wants to give me.
Yeah, so you've engaged him enough and plugging into perhaps some natural deference or some natural politeness that he doesn't feel he can ignore you, whilst he's also trying to like keep an eye over there. And as you see, kind of like his head turn, you ask him another question. So you've got a little bit of a reflected importance because clearly you were dining with Lord Gunvar. So as far as he's concerned, you're important personages, and he doesn't want to get into trouble by kind of like he doesn't want to get into trouble by ignoring you or being impolite. But by the same token, he's been told to try to keep you all together and keep an eye on you, which is proving a little bit harder than you would like. So you're keeping him distracted for the moment. So what's the plan from Sirk and Loftar? You're getting a really good rubbing of this, by the way.
Torg. Yeah, Torg is just trying to. Torg is trying to provide some cover for Sirk, essentially. So I'm just kind of. Go on, bud.
As I'm up against the wall, doing an initial rubbing, I will quietly say to you, "What do you want the note to say?"
My Lord Balin!
Yeah, so...
But anyway, it's going to have to be quite little.
We must...
I presume we can ruin it in some respect.
As small as you can.
So yeah, basically I'll be attempting to write on the bottom of the piece of paper so that it can be torn off and wrapped around this bird's leg.
So we want to say...
While covering for the fact that I'm also rubbing at the top.
We're with Lord Gunvar in his grounds.
At
Gunvar's. He is plotting against the dwarves.
Plot against.
And we will need extraction.
Send the chopper.
Rescue. Target. Forge.
This is the Forge in Erebor.
So
right?
So just to rewind again to just recap on what happened in character not more than 30 minutes ago, but in person 2 weeks ago. He said he was riding this night. You guys were gonna go with him, and he was gonna be riding into Erebor to sabotage from the Forgers. So you guys know that, and you can see kind of like people preparing, ready for that ride. So it's not that far away. So just as a reminder, that is the context that you're in at the moment.
So we want to say,
okay, so yeah,
plot against dwarves.
He rides tonight.
Happening now.
He rides tonight. Yep. Has enlisted us. Believes we will help him.
So could you just call out to me what it is that you're writing down there?
Right, I'm going to say, at Gunvar's, plot against dwarves.
Stop.
Yep. Stop. Target Erebor Forge. Stop. Happening now, or soon. Happening's imminently. Stop. Thinks has us on side. Stop.
P.S. Dinner was a bit rubbish.
Dinner was lovely.
3 out of 5 stars.
Would recommend. Dinner was fine until the coercion for dessert.
Okay. Dinner was fine until the coercion. Okay, cool. So you hastily scribble that down.
And roll it up.
Paper, kind of go, I see, and then I'll be talking over him, sort of going, it's the rune, it's very ancient. And then I'll try and use that sound to muffle the tearing that piece off. I might hold this for a minute, will you, while I do another one?
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, and I'll play along with it, and obviously the details of such things are lost on me, Sirk. I appreciate this. You keep an eye on what's happening with Loftar and the guy, and try and sort of fold it up and slip it into my cloak pocket.
Yeah, okay. So Loftar and the guy, Loftar's doing a really good job of. Oh, and also another thing. And how about this? And some combination of Loftar's arm still around the figure, and that being a little bit uncomfortable. It started uncomfortable. It is really getting uncomfortable now.
It's been there for far too long now.
It's a slow circular stroking motion that it's really kind of like worried about. And Loftar continuing just to this steady ply of one more thing. Style questions, and the fact
demonstrating killing methods.
Not quite yet, but you can see he's getting So whilst he's glancing across to you every so often and is clearly kind of like trying to extract himself, he can't see exactly what's happening with Torg obfuscating, and you kind of keeping it close to yourselves, and you have also. And the fact that Torg is playing up, really interesting architecture, runes and such like, which is congruent with what you were talking to him about. It all hangs together sufficiently that there's nobody feeling particularly suspicious.
Okay, good. So while he's feeling uncomfortable and awkward with Loftar, I'll head back towards the bird bath.
That's got to be the name of the episode. Doom Bunny. Uncomfortable and awkward with Loftar, I think is the episode name.
With Loftar.
Yeah.
Fireside chat. Yeah, and
Loftar and pals.
And I'll, if it appears safe to, I would like to take out the mechanical thrush, attach the note, and wind it up. Whilst go on,
while
Ben.
you're doing that, I'll head back to Loftar and the guard and ask the guard if there's any other runes around the keep that I could be shown.
Yeah, okay.
Just to kind of interject to make sure his attention's focused on us too.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm genuinely interested in this.
Look, and he steps away from Loftar. He goes, "My lords," and he kind of is looking around for Torg.
Okay, I'm busy. I'm trying to hide the thrush from view.
My rubbing. It will look similar to this. Anything kind of interestingly placed anywhere that you've noticed? Is there a historian in the keep? Someone who knows the history of this place? Who's been here the longest?
Make me an awe roll, Sirk, because I think you're trying to just use your presence to cause him to focus upon you.
Yeah, I'm unawful as everything. I'm in fact I'm quite awful. And appropriately, it's an Eye of Sauron.
Oh.
For not even an anything.
Okay. So let's see what he rolls as he's kind of like doing it. Okay, he rolled okay. Look, and you can see he kind of like goes, "This is all well and good, gentlemen, but please do just keep together. Just keep together. My lord, can you come? Can you come? Are you on mute, Joe?
Sorry, it's the wind was carrying my voice away. I'm trying some of these herbs in my pipe. I just wish to sample some of this lemon mint in with this wonderful pipeweed from the West Farthing.
Yeah, could you perhaps sample that over here, please?
Oh, of course.
I said, so you kind of all clustered back, and he goes, "Just please stay here."
Can I use craft to make this thing come together a little bit quicker?
Yeah.
Get the message onto the bird, wind it up, and just use my dexterity.
Yeah.
So I have a craft of 3, so high hopes
Designed
for this
to take
one.
a message anyway. That was kind of its purpose, wasn't it?
Yeah, it should be
but
fairly easy.
You can like got it in your pocket. You're trying to attach it and wind it in your pocket so that at some moment you can just let it go.
Yeah. Okay, looks good. So a 1, a 4, a 5, and a 7.
17.
Yeah. Okay. 19. Is it? No,
17.
not 19. 17.
1, 4, 5, 7, 17. Yeah, so you kind of quite deftly in your pocket, kind of like just manipulate it, feel the winder, turn it, and then you're holding
all while
it.
kind of holding up my pipe at the same time.
Oh yeah, holding your pipe. You just kind of like, and then you kind of like go towards your pouch at some point when it almost slipped, and you kind of grab it that way. So it's now you're holding the mechanism. You can feel it, the pressure as it's trying to turn and unwind, but you're just holding it there, so the energy is kind of like stored in your pocket at the moment.
Okay.
Can I just ask?
Directly at me?
He's looking at all of you. He's got you now corralled.
Okay.
Sheep in his pen, and is adamant that he's not going to let you kind of like go unless you force issue in some way.
Okay.
Is there somewhere we could sit? Standing here feels.
I've smoked enough for the evening. I believe we should re-enter the hall.
Does it have some mounts for us to see as well?
That will happen. I'm sure Hammond will sort you. Good.
I just wanted to check if was there any useful information that I perhaps got from him. I mean, anything that you can pass on to me, as in like about Lord
Gunvar is powerful, is affluent. He's been in Lord Gunvar's service pretty much since he was kind of an early teen. This is his first time that he's really been on an operation, so to speak.
Yeah.
I guess what line of questioning did you take? Any key questions?
Yeah, it's like any dealings with dwarfs. I want to establish if any history with dwarfs. Is it like, are we the first dwarven guests here?
Yeah.
Any hate or love towards dwarves?
It's all very ambivalent. He either doesn't particularly know, or it's a bit of a non-issue as far as he's concerned. He doesn't usually...
What's his main line of business or duty? Is it just a wealthy
He's in the
aristocrat?
He's a mook.
Gunvar.
Yes, sorry.
So Gunvar's just the lord of the manor, as far as he knows. He doesn't know his lordship's interest in that way.
Okay, no, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that's sufficient.
So you guys are like, let's go head to the hall, and you spin on the heel and move quite quickly, or what's the plan?
I'm dragging my feet a little bit. When I say this, how does he react? Is he kind of like
brightens
up?
Visibly brightens up, and he starts to make tracks towards the hall.
So he's leading the way.
Yeah.
If he leads the way, I'd quite like to release the thrush.
Release the hounds.
And then, release the thrush, and then kind of make a thing of it. Like, look, look, a bird flying so close. What kind of bird is that? And start talking about different types of birds.
Okay, give me a
Was it
riddle. Give me a
It's a
riddle
very
roll.
small. Who? What? Sorry.
Give me
What's
a
that
riddle
for?
roll.
A riddle roll. Okay. 2 dice.
Or a persuade roll. I'll leave it with you. I'll leave it with you. Riddle or persuade.
I go with riddle, even though I've failed terribly. I've
Okay.
got a score of 2 and an Eye of Sauron.
Oh, jeez. Let's think about this. He didn't roll
really
particularly well on his insight. I think it's a thrush.
A thrush.
Hammond, is that a thrush? And the door warden.
Is it flying?
It's, but it's kind of like got a little bit of a metallic clinking sound as it kind of like
goes off.
You know, like the kind of like clockwork.
Red light on one.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's got a red light on its port side.
Oh, that sounds just Loftar's leg.
Hammond kind of like do very well. Yeah, it's a thrush. It's a strange time for a thrush to be about.
Quite so. They're not night birds.
We kind of like.
Yeah.
Okay. Inside, the lot of you.
Yes, of course. Inside we must go.
Ammon kind of like wanders across, and you can, as you're walking through, you see him collar Gunvar, and they're having a conversation, and they're looking back at you guys and Gunvar, and you show back inside. So time passes, and the pre-dawn starts to show its way through to the windows. Horses have been and are gathered within the manor side. Within the manor grounds, mounts, and around about 30 riders milling around. So this is quite a substantial, quite a sizable. If you think of like some kind of like big hunts, they're gathered there, kind of readying. The field is readying for battle. People clasping each other's shoulders, giving it, the warrior's grasp, checking over. The majority of them are armed with spears, but you do see some hunting bows and quivers being packed in there. And it looks as if there's almost 2 grades of companions here. There is maybe a lower grade who seem to have more simple weapons, spears mostly. Their mounts, they don't seem to have as individual mounts. They're just kind of like draft horses. And they're all more shy horse than they are kind of like thoroughbred horse. They're kind of agricultural draft horses by the main. And then there's a smaller group of around about 10 who have got finer armor, possibly even dwarven kind of crafted armor with some of them, and more of those have swords by their side, and they're the ones with the livery of Gunvar, possibly provided by the Lord himself, and they gather with Gunvar as his kind of like bodyguard or main guard, for instance. And the temperature has dropped a little, and fog is starting to gather outside of the manor. The grounds around, as you kind of go to the main road, are wooded, and the fog is starting to thread its way through this beautiful birch forest, looking kind of ominous and yet beautiful at the same time. And as you move, you are shown mounts, and you're helped to mount up, and you slowly and steadily ride out into the quiet countryside of the pre-dawn Northern Dale lands. Out to the road, then along the road. We might be about to be interrupted. Heading towards the broad shoulder of the mountain, of the lonely mountain in front of you, dominating the scene as it does. The snow-capped top of the mountain. You can see the silhouette of Raven Hill quite a distance away, and even you think the moonlight catching on the taller towers of Dale, and then you move off the main dragon to ever increasing and ever steeper, always going upwards, steeper lanes that then narrow and become bridle paths, and at some point you need to dismount. The horses are pitched and tethered, and you're led and pushed a little bit along. It seems that enough suspicion has been aroused that Gunvar has kept men close to you now as you're moving along, and it seems that Ammon, the gate warden, seems to be the leader of that particular group, and you're almost wedged between these two packs of men as you're kind of led through, and it's tough going up the shoulder of the mountain as you start to hike, and the ground turns more to rock, and you can see this broad shoulder of scree spilling off the mount. Those of you that have got tunneling or smithing or what have you, you can start to smell the escape gases that are a product of the forge work. This area of the mountain, it must be where a lot of the vents exhaust through from the work that happens within the halls under the mountain. And you scramble up the scree. A number of the men slide back down, and then you start to move diagonally as you kind of do. The slope is quite thick, and then there's a crevasse. One of the crevasses that the water courses in winter would turn to ice as it falls off the shoulder of the mountain. And this crevasse seems to have been worked, and it opens out a little bit more. And gathered at the top, you see the pocket of Gunvar's men kind of start to move down. As you kind of come into the crevasse, you can see that it has indeed been worked. You can see the marks of the chisels, and you can see a wooden beam holding up a number of the scree above it. And around you, the men, every second or third man pulls out a lamp that they light with the oil, and it casts a golden glow around, and you start to move into the mountain itself. As you kind of move forward deeper into the mountain, the torches have to be extinguished a little bit more, and there's maybe one every 10, just so there's just 3 torches, the dwarven lamps that burn without giving out open flame, and you can smell in this makeshift tunnel. No time to kind of smooth it off, so you're banging and clanging, and you can tell that the men are not all comfortable with this exercise. They're having to hold the person in front of them because the light is so dim. Every so often you hear "bah!" as somebody clocks their noggin against the rooftop, not quite as short as they thought it was, and you walk through pools of still water, and all the time the air gets colder, as you know happens as you enter into the caves beneath. It's a difficult journey. The darkness gathering around you. For some of you guys, it brings back good memories. You've been in these kinds of mansions before, but you can feel the tension within the men. Then the whole thing stops, and you kind of like back into each other. And then a word kind of comes across, and it opens out into a slightly larger chamber, and there's this deep crevasse that spreads across, maybe 10 feet across, and there's been a worked stone kind of plinth dropped over, but very narrow, and the men are having to kind of move tentatively across it. The lamps have been lit, and they're stationed at either side of this crevasse, and you can sense the darkness and just the as it drops into nothingness below you. A number of the men, you can see the fear on their eyes. The young guard that was with you, almost has to be helped across, handheld, as he kind of moves across. And then it comes to your turn, and you kind of step forward off into this rock across the abyss. And you move forward. You must be deep within the mountain at this point. these shafts that drop into the core of the earth, and you recall some of the stories of your forefathers burrowing deep and deep and deep, and you feel the primordial darkness gathering around you, kind of calling up to you, invasive thoughts moving around. Could I have a fear test, please?
What's that? Valor.
Is that the wisdom or valor?
Valor, I think.
Yes, because it's
Valor.
corruption test for wisdom, isn't it?
And is it thingy dice plus one for each of our things?
Yes.
Or one for each of our levels in it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sorry, did you say valor? Yes, valor is a fear test.
Valor.
Yes, valor.
And it's based on, and you can use heart, can't you? If you need to
That
bump
is
it.
right, I think. Yep.
He says, knowing that he has a very low valor of 1.
Yeah, you can use heart, and you add your heart attribute bonus to it.
I rolled a 13, so I will spend a point of hope to add a 2 to make it a 15.
Yeah.
Well, providing that meets the target number.
It does.
If not, I won't spend it.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's 40 target number.
And I'll claim that one back from the Fellowship if that's okay.
Yeah. I will. I'm in a similar boat. I've got 12, but I need to spend a point of hope because that's not quite good enough. So that bumps me up 3. So I got 15.
Yeah. Okay. You're successful.
That's the. Yeah. That's the.
And Torg.
Torg has straight up failed it.
Oh, okay. So there is
No way
something. There is something about the darkness that unnerves you. Something in there that calls out to deep within and resonates within your body. You can't spend hope. I can't remember what the condition name is, but you can't spend hope.
Miserable?
No, it's not miserable. It's daunted. You're daunted.
Daunted. Okay.
Is there any reason particularly why Torg may feel daunted by this abyss that lays below him?
I was always sheltered from the tunneling. My father led the excavation in the Grey Mountains. Being a Lord's son, I never had to dirty my hands. It was seen as beneath me. As such, the tunnels are not natural to me. There is some shame attached to that as well. But for now, I fear what may lurk in these shadows. How's that grab you?
I like it. I like it lots. It grabbed me right where things should be grabbing.
Call yourself a dwarf.
Right where it matters.
Can I just sort of?
Go on.
Yeah, just wanted to interject while we sort of together, because this is a bit of a stressful situation for Loftar as well. In a sort of, I guess, not a desperation, but I'm just a bit wary what's happening. I'm just going to quickly say in Dwarven, we have to lose them, or we have to get rid of them, or as in more of a question. So I put a question mark at the end to see what my comrades respond at some point in time to my proposal.
Quiet. If you're going to talk, you talk in common tongue.
Sorry, I was just commenting on the smell that has been polluting the air for so time. Yeah, it's just, even for a dwarf, I got standards, you know what I mean? All day down here. No. Not for me.
Who's been leading the way?
You can't really see the darkness and the pack of bodies.
Anyone would think we've gone the wrong way. These don't
I
look
don't
like
know how.
tunnels to me.
Quiet.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how kind of present of mind Torg is right now, but there's one word that's echoing round his brain as he stares into the darkness beneath him and around him, and that is goblins. The one thing he can think of. Goblins.
I think we've gone the wrong way.
Trust
I
in
think
the
they
Lord.
have gone the wrong way.
Move in. Come on, move along. And then you press forward by the press of bodies around you. And you move forward
As you say.
through the narrow fissure. And the narrow fissure opens out into a more worked corridor after a period of time. And the air hangs heavy as you move now quickly and quietly along that corridor of stone. You could be anywhere, in any of the mansions of the dwarves under the surface of this Middle Earth. But the corridor is cut cleanly, a sure sign that footfall is expected to be able to move quickly and efficiently. You must be deep beneath the earth, yet somewhere within the halls under the mountain. There are a few moments for you to pause, swept as you are by this group of men, and then you turn one last corner, and the wall of heat hits you, a shimmering curtain that distorts the oranges, yellows and reds of the 7 great smelting forges of Erebor. They reside in a vast cavern. You are in the room of the first forge. The hexagonal smelters are each 30 feet tall, broad at their base and rising upwards. You've emerged from what you imagine to be a sand tunnel closest to the outermost forge, the trail of cooled pig iron sitting in its trough in front of you, ready to be broken up. The vanguard of Gunvar's men are already halfway across the hall. Arrows are loosed at the small team of dwarves working the lit forges. The dwarves fall as the arrows arc down on them. The room is massive, but mostly empty space. Piles of raw materials gather opposite the smelters. A shelf lies above the smelters, feeding in iron ore. In front of each smelter, sand pits extend, cooling pits hanging off the main branches, like piglets sucking at a sow. The orange and the gold of the molten iron cooling down within those sand pits. Carts gathered in groups throughout, along with tools, ropes, benches, huge barrels of water. The smelters are at various stages of the smelting process. Demand for their produce must be low, as only a single team is working the room, off towards the far end, now engulfed by some of Gunvar's men. The large hexagonal beasts, iron ore going in the top, slag, acrid gases and smelted iron spilling forth. The whole process, you know, is fed by the breath of the mountain. A set of pipes that draw air from the surface through the channels cut in rock and through the forges, keeping those forges, and by extension the kingdom of Dane Ironfoot, the kingdom of Erebor, the kingdom under the mountain, alive and well. Sweat is dripping down your faces, as much from the intensity of the heat that steals the air from your lungs as the threat of battle to come. Ammon, the gatekeeper, turns to face you. It's time to use those legendary mattocks for a true purpose, eh? Maniacal laughter. Let's smash up that pipe, lads. Let's get them dwarves by the throat. Gathered about you are about a third of Gunvar's men. 3 step forward with Ammon. The others eye you warily, not quite ready to trust your actions are consistent with your words. What are you doing, guys?
I think it's time, boys.
I think it's time for some diplomacy.
Oh, no. I mean, that's... sorry, yes. Oh, okay, of course, the nickname. Yes. Apologise. Yeah, long week.
Yeah, make me a courtesy check there. What are you doing? So what are you doing, Loftar? Let's start with you.
How many are in front of me? Because I'm just really pissed off now.
So
this
there are
whole
6
situation.
gathered around you. three kind of like either side, so three in front, three behind. Ammon has kind of like got right up in your grill, and you can tell he's loving this, and he's kind of like gone off to one of these huge pipes that feed into this kind of like big iron smelter. So what's happening here is that the raw iron ore is getting turned into pig iron, which then becomes steel in a separate process. And because your crafts knowledge, you know that these 7 smelters, that's all that they do. They just generate iron, pig iron, and there are 7 of them because they are representative of the 7 forefathers of the race of dwarves, of which the folk of Durin are one of them. And you can kind of see carved around the each of the forges is a list of names, and these are all the names of the dwarves that have fallen in various battles throughout the history. So it has a religious and a cultural as well as a practical significance. And the air that feeds and keeps the heat sufficiently to smelt the iron is the breath of the mountain, because it really is the lungs upon which the Dwarven kingdom is founded. Without that breath, there is no iron. Without that iron, there is no steel. Without that steel, there is no Dwarven kingdom.
Well, that's at least Loftar is just pissed off. This whole situation and the audacity of man just made his blood boil. And as Sirk kindly alluded, it's time for diplomacy, boys.
Okay, so
let's give them.
So you're going to engage in a little bit of combat. Okay, so Sirk, what is your activity?
Is there, on what I know, so if these things are kind of like feeding like a forge, there's going to be like some runoff of like hot gases and stuff somewhere. Is that anywhere near us?
Yeah, so there's essentially an exhaust pipe that kind of like bleeds off, and there is this. So the iron, the smelted iron, comes kind of like in front of you, and then slag, which is the unusable aspect, gets poured into troughs that then kind of lead off behind. But these things are massive. I mean, the one in front of you is relatively cool because it's clearly produced the iron, and it just needs to be chiseled away. As you kind of get further down the other end, they get progressively warmer in various stages.
Yeah, because because what he would have looked to do would have been basically to act as if he was going to go attack in the same way they were, but with a intention to cause them lots of harm by releasing hot gases stroke molten iron into where they're the path of where they were trying to attack. So basically act like he just fucked up, but try and attack them that way if he knew that there was something, if it's too cold to do that.
Yeah, this particular one is, but the other one's further down, and kind of like, so it looks like the Vanguard of Gunvar's man has taken care of the team of dwarves that was working, and the others are starting to disperse around. So make an awareness roll as you're kind of like scanning. So Loftar has no opportunity for an awareness roll because he's only aware of the guy he's going to twat next. But you're taking
15 great success.
Okay, so 15 great. So gathered around the room, there are numerous large gongs that, as a dwarf, you would know are kind of. There's a sign that says 5 days since the last accident up on the wall, and these gongs get banged when there's some mishap or some other such thing. So you see those kind of a little distance away from where you are at the moment and spread throughout the room. And you also kind of like, there should be far more dwarves working these forges in the stage that they're at than there are currently.
Right, so I might suspect that our message should get through then.
Draw what conclusions?
In which case, I will be like, I know where to hit them. Come on, and I'll try and start leading some of the others to the hotter forges to enact what I plan to do at the colder one.
Yeah, okay, cool. So we'll resolve all of these actions. So what is Torg doing?
So Sirk, you're off to release hot gas onto the Gunvar's men, and Loftar, you're attacking.
Yeah, so you can see that
Loftar's nearest, or you're going for Ammon, or okay.
That's all right.
So I think I think maybe Torg is maybe acting slightly slower than usual. Still kind of suffering with the fear of the darkness and the thought of goblins under the mountain, but also that kind of sense of shame of his position, his privileged position, and the conundrum he finds himself in now. Possibly the one thing that he recognizes is the gongs, having heard them, but never really having, and occasionally having toured some of the forges in the Grey Mountains under the supervision of his father. So maybe he's going to take a moment or two to really survey what's going on and see what his companions are doing, and then finally spring into action and run towards the nearest gong. But it's going to be I guess slightly delayed because he's not really there immediately.
Okay. So let's have some battle rolls from everybody in any case. So let's just go to combat. So I don't think that the anybody here is particularly surprised. The men aren't that surprised that they're going to get hit and that stuff is happening because they were wary of you in any case. You are attacking an enemy to the... I think they will have initiative because you're the actors as opposed to the defenders in this. Yeah. So then battle rolls, and you have a 18. Okay, so battle rolls then, please. Loftar, what did you get?
I was mentally saying to myself for the last couple of sessions, this would be the most important role because, damn, we're going to kill some, not orc, but, filthy men. And on my 5 dice, I see here 4 ones. So let me just do a quick maths. What's the target? Sorry, is there a target? No, you need to have successes to get...
Yeah, so the target number is 14. You get 1 success dice on a normal success, 2 on a great success, 3 on an extraordinary success.
Yeah, I'll spend my another point of hope. I've got because battle is my favourite, so it boosts up quite a lot. It goes by 6. So even with a filthy roll like that, I'm going to 11, 12, 15.
Okay, so you get 1 success dice. Okay. Sirk, you got 4 success dice?
I got 4.
4. Okay, so you get no success dice.
I only get 3 dice.
Yeah, and a Torg.
I rolled a 12, but I'm daunted, so
yeah, so you can't.
I'll fail.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, and that's representative of you, kind of like what's going on a little. Okay. So let's just resolve this then. So, Sirk, give me a persuade roll to see if and how many of these guys you take with. There are 6 gathered around you at the moment.
16, great success.
16, great success. Wow. Okay, so 16, great. I'm going to say that
I actually have 2 dice in persuade.
3 of them will go with you. They see kind of like, yeah, good plan. And you race off probably the 30 to 40 feet to get to the next forge where the forge is pushing out smelted iron. Okay, Torg, you're running to the nearest gong. Do you want to give me an athletics test?
Yep. So 1 dice in athletics. 10. Nothing I can do about that.
Okay, so the guy that would be trying to rugby tackle, you've got a 4. So you kind of like start to make a turn. It's going to take you this combat round to get across to the gong, but you've got enough of a distance that you'll be able to get there before this guy, and he's coming with as well, which means that there are just two gathered around you. Around you, Loftar. So there's no opening volleys or anything like that. So what stance are you going to take, Loftar?
I'm going to go in a forward stance.
Okay, so forward stance.
Is it just me on my own? I want to sort of.
Yes, so there's just you, and you've got two of these men with you. Sirk has said, "Let's go and smack up that one."
Okay.
And he's dragged three with him because he was quite compelling. Loftar just hasn't seen with it for a little while. He's racing across, out away from combat. You don't know exactly where he's going to, but one of the guys is like, "You shit," and he's like trying to grab at him. Loftar's being too quick off the mark. This figure's like scrabbling to kind of chase after. And two see that you kind of like aren't playing ball, and they're ready for a bit of a fight. And Ammon and three others have kind of like about to start smacking away at this air pipe.
I think stance doesn't really make much of a difference in terms of maybe a combat task that I would want to do or not. In terms of hitting them, I don't know. Hitting me, anyone can hit me because my sort of parry rating is very low. So I'll go in forward stance and try to cause as much damage as I can.
So you're in forwards, that is 6 plus your parry rating. What's your parry rating?
It's 4.
So 10. Okay. So this kind of like a short sword, not a kind of like long sword, kind of comes, kind of swings at you, trying to get you. Completely misses. Clearly wasn't quite ready for it. The second one has a go at you, which will be a 9. So he kind of like swings. You manage to block him off with your mattock. So now your turn back.
Remember to be diplomatic.
Oh yeah, I love this one. I need to write it down. Hello, boys. Welcome to. Oh come on! What's Sauron doing here?
Sauron's here.
Just tips up.
It ruins the party. This is like a party pooper situation. I've got 11.
11 will hit. No, 11 doesn't.
Yeah, because
sorry, 11 doesn't. So block it.
Forward.
Block it with their shield.
Okay.
You can spend hope in battle, though, can't you? You should add your body.
Yeah, I've already spent.
Well, we've got some. Joe can't spend them. We've got 2 left.
Yeah, I've got 4. We would have had 4.
Did you reclaim?
I've got 1 left.
Yeah, I think you've got.
I've spent 1.
I could take 2. I can take mine. Yeah. Okay. No. I mean, if I wanted, let's take them down. I'll spend another 1. We can do the hope balancing. We can do a hope accounting at the end. Let's do that. Yeah. Okay, so that would make it body mattock is a favoured. So that's much better. That's 20.
That will smack through his shield, and you can connect with his upper torso.
Yeah, 8 damage.
8 damage. Okay.
Wanted to see what a mattock could do.
It's kind of like knocked back slightly.
That's it.
As we come around.
To hell with you.
What's the mattock with you?
Okay, so as you're kind of like exerting yourselves, the kind of like as you're trying to draw in the air into your lungs, it burns your throat as you're moving through. It's eerily quiet. It's surprisingly quiet without the banging and clanging that you would expect from people within the forge. And your voices echo off in this vast chamber that you're in. So let's start with Sirk. So you race across, and you've kind of got to the next of these great hexagonal smelters. You can see the names written in Death Eck ruins of fallen dwarves all the way down the side of that kind of glowing a little bit with the heat within. This big, it's probably kind of half your height in terms of its diameter pipe that comes through, and you can hear this kind of like as the air gets drawn into the forge. There's various valves that you can kind of like manipulate.
Direct them to hit it where would be the most dangerous place to hit it.
Make me a crafts roll.
I'm all right. I'm a dwarf. I start with a 2. Seven. 13. I'm gonna spend I'm gonna spend a point of hope to send my 13 to 22.
Wow. Okay. Yep. So you quickly assess it, and at some point, this forge has had some maintenance on the area that draws the exhaust gases out, and you think that the combined heat of the forge, and if they were to smash it where that maintenance has happened, it'd probably get through more quickly, and also kind of cause the gases to kind of be pushed out and ignite from the forge. Yeah, so you can like go over and you're like
with my sword.
Yeah, so you hit it with your sword.
I've got a sword.
Yeah, it still is pretty sturdy. It's going to maybe take a little bit of time for them to do that.
I want them to all pile in on it, preferably in an arc around it.
Yeah, so maybe make an awe or an inspire roll to kind of like get their enthusiasm levels kind of like going. Come on, everybody, let's do this thing! No, really harder! Can you do it harder? That's my impression of Sirk. It may sound like a washerwoman.
No. Oh, well, no, it's not even worth me spending another point with my 3. I don't have anything in awe or inspire.
Okay, so you're like,
if I could have persuaded them,
you want to get it here? And they kind of like come forward and they're kind of like not as enthusiastic, and they're like, come on, dwarf, help with that. So you're kind of like in the proximity of it.
Oh yeah, I was in the thick of it anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I'm determined to see this through, no matter what it might cost me.
Okay. So Torg, you get to the kind of like gong. The warrior is chasing after you. So you can grab the thing and bang it. But what that'll do is it'll
run into it.
Just barrel into it.
Head down.
But that will.
I am wearing my helm.
Yeah, that will mean that you don't get an action next turn as he kind of like comes up to you, and you would have to drop this and draw that and all that kind of stuff.
I mean, I was thinking about hitting it with the blunt end of my mattock, but if I could manage to draw to pull my mattock up whilst running.
Yeah, okay. There's a risk that what you'll do then is just smash the gong.
It's happened before, but to a hobbit.
Like the Hobbit fate.
Well, I mean, the dwarves are often, over an ale. The male dwarves will brag about how well they've smashed their gong, but as a hobbit.
Just imagine it's Clovis.
Yeah, but,
okay. Look, I'm.
It's up to you.
Torg's thinking is clouded. He's driven mainly. He's acting on instinct. He doesn't have a kind of clear thought. Oh, if I do it this way, it's going to do that, and then this happens. He's just thinking, gong, hit gong, make noise.
Make a crash roll then to kind of.
Dwarves will come.
Intuitively smack it where it won't break.
Smack it where it won't hurt.
Okay. Cool. So 3 dice for craft and the feat die. Rolls are not good tonight. Okay, so 12.
Okay, so you do. So you smack it, and it does resonate, but not quite as deeply as it would have done if you'd have smacked it with the kind of like the gong banger.
The beater.
The beater. Thank you.
The beater.
If you'd have beaten that, so whilst it resonates out, it's less of a bong and more of a bang. So a shorter,
kind of clanging.
shorter lasting kind of like noise, and then you kind of like swing around and turn ready for the other guy who's going to catch you. Okay, so let's move back
Fair
around
enough.
to Loftar. So give me a stance, Loftar.
So I've caused no damage. I mean, I've hit a
connected
guy,
with the guy,
but there's still.
but he's still there. He's like, he felt that. He felt that.
Yeah. Yeah, still in a forward stance then.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to a fresh guy.
Okay.
Unless how does he look like?
So you're going forward, okay? Which is I always get forward and open mixed up. Forward is the 6. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
6, yeah.
So 10 still. Okay. So the one that you haven't wounded yet kind of darts in with his sword, stabs you in the side, doing 5 damage.
Nice.
Kind of like tries to topple you over, tries to kind of like get his leg behind you to kind of push you to the ground, but you're just too sturdy for that kind of malark, and kind of just pushing back, and he kind of like moves back and circles around to the side. His companion that you did wound comes in and gets a great success and also an edge.
Nice.
So you need to make a protection test, don't you, Lof?
Yeah.
If I've got this right, and it's so long since I ran a combat.
I'm just having a look. I was actually open on a combat section, so close combat attack, range attacks. Is it a piercing blow?
It could be. If
he's got a great success, does he got great success?
He got great success, yes. And edge.
He got damage rating of the attacking hero. He gets the rating of the weapon plus damage rating of the attacking hero, which would be the enemy. In this case.
So that's going to do 8.
Okay, so 13 damage now. Nice.
Yeah. Okay. So what happens if he gets an edge? Does anybody know off the top of the head?
You have to go against your parry.
It's a protection test.
You have to roll a protection test.
Yeah.
So it's.
Yeah, I've got a protection test.
4D. I mean, mine's 4D plus 4 because I've got whatever armor I've got.
And
Coat of mail and helm.
Yeah, to avoid being wounded.
To avoid being wounded. Yeah, so I've got 5 dice plus 4 because I've got a helmet, so I should be okay in theory. But my dice were not that favourable today.
Has Joe
5
for everybody else?
Yes, it has. Unfortunately, oh no, it's back.
Okay, back.
I don't know
what motion animation.
Target number is equal to the injury rating. So what
16.
is the injury rating of the weapon?
16.
16. That looks all right. Geez, 17. So, I'm glad.
5 dice plus 4.
Sorry, 21. 21.
Oh, okay, fine. You're wearing your iron hobok as well, aren't you? Your iron armor.
Yeah.
So it kind of like comes in. It's a really strong blow, but kind of can't quite get it through the nature of your armor.
Does it make a more impressive gun than Torg did on the gun?
It's more of a dull thud.
Probably. Probably a thud.
It's a dull thud of diplomacy failing. Okay,
that is true.
You get to swing back. Go on, sorry, Jay.
Yeah.
I don't know if you took damage as well there, but there's the knockback rule, so you can halve the endurance loss by being thrown off balance. You basically you can't change your stance next round, and you lose your attack and action in the following round.
No, I'm fine. I mean, I'm gonna be weary anyway, so let's not give him anything. Let's
quarter.
That's it. Let's. What's the matter with you? Let's have it. Come on. It's all about the Mattock jokes today, apparently.
Right. That's got to be the episode title, surely.
What's the Mattock with you?
What's the matter?
Wounded guy or not wounded guy?
Wounded guy. Sorry. Yes. That hit just sort of made my cogs work a bit harder. And thinking, let's just get rid of 1 because 1 is less than 2. I've got a double 2 digits on the feat die for the first time. Throwing, unfortunately, no bloody successes, so just an 8 damage. I've got 20.
Okay, so 8 damage.
Yeah.
Okay, so
What's your edge rating? If
Sorry?
you've got 2 things on the feet, if you've got double digits on the feet die, is that not
So-
above your edge rating?
That's a good point. I have to deduct 1. Sorry, so let's do the math correctly because I've thrown 1, so 1 is discounted. So I'm actually the 19 normal success, and I've got the edge. That's right. I've got the edge on the mattock. Well done, Sirk. Thanks, mate. Not sure what that means. I think I'm causing them. No, they have to do the roll as I did.
yeah, that's correct.
So my injury is 18, yeah? And try that, you silly human.
So that is a piercing blow. So describe to me how you piercing blow the guy with your mattock.
Just through half of his sort of intestines, and then just sort of like spilling over a little bit. That anger just sort of transformed through the power of diplomacy, opening up the channels of communication through his, intestines.
In the 300 make of this battle, it kind of comes in really quick and then cuts to slow motion as the intestines spin around, blood kind of like spinning around.
Splats on the wall.
His opponent's face is
well, hopefully
land on the forge and start to slowly cook away.
Looks like intestines are back on the menu, boys.
I like it. Okay, so next round then. Torg and Loftar, give me. No, you won't need awareness checks. Actually, you can hear echoing down the room as the gong has resonated. Treachery! And Gunvar and a number of his bodyguards turn and face, stop what they're doing and start to move along to kind of come back to you. They've heard the gong, they've seen the intestines splat, the writing on the wall, so to speak, and they're starting to move down. It's going to take them a bit of time to get towards you. In the meantime, we have Sirk kind of continuing to mock. It's to do you're like an imposter on Among Us and just pretending to do a task, ready to kind of kill the other guys.
I'll hit this thing. I want this thing to break and just attack them.
So
I want them to hit it with me so that they're all crowded round and it blows up in their faces.
Yeah. Okay. So give me like a crafts roll. I think is possibly the best way to be doing that.
That's a massive 9, so I'll spend another point for an 18.
18.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. So it looks as if it's starting to smash through, but maybe another round's worth. Those guys aren't very good with their swords either. One of them kind of like goes and grabs back a kind of bigger hammer and chisel that seems to be left ready for the pig iron, and is kind of coming back ready to give it. The other guys are like moving out of his way, so he's like, I'll give this some heft, and that'll happen next turn.
Use determined to get my final success point.
Well, so the trait of determined.
Yeah.
So did you get a great?
No, I'm
success?
determined that the thing's going to break. I didn't, did I?
Yeah.
No, I spent an 18. Yeah.
And I don't mind. Yeah, I don't mind that. In that, like your intensity of kind of like focus on it. If you'd have got a great success, I'd have allowed that. So Torg, this man at arms is kind of coming at you with a spear. You're ready to greet him. You're the defender in this, so you're allowed first, I think.
Okay. I'll take an open stance.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that's 9.
Um,
Okay.
Yep. So I'm using my mattock.
Yep.
3 dice.
Yep.
That's okay, actually. 16. Nothing special about it. No hope.
That will hit.
It's gonna be. It's a grievous mattock. It's gonna be 10 damage.
Ooh, the guy says.
Yeah.
Oh, you
It's very
bastard.
convincing. Yeah.
You kind of smack into him. It's like, whoa.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is something the mattock?
He kind of like gets himself, kind of like moves himself around, kind of leaning against it, and then just stabs at you, both hands, as if he was trying to like spear a boar or something. And
It's just a
Joe-
matter of time until he gets your point.
Absolutely. Joe, I was about to say that I'm glad that you've taken the magic into your own hands. Decided to sort it out.
What's your parry rating, Sir Torg?
4.
Okay, so 13.
He says
You kind of like, he stabs out at you. You just dodge to the side, out of the way of that. And now we move across to Torg. You can see, Torg, that Ammond
To Loftar.
Loftar, sorry. Ammond and the crew that were kind of like trying to break through this, they've seen that you're in combat and fighting back. They're not going to join this round, but they're going to possibly join next round. But you can see and heard the gong, looked around and all that kind of stuff. So the first one has a go at you. And what stance were you in? You were in 6, weren't you? So that is...
Unless is that another round? Because I might change my stance.
Oh, yeah, okay, sorry, yeah, stance. Yeah.
No, I think it just makes sense for me to go to the open because there will be more enemies. So I'll just, maybe exert myself a little bit less. Plus, I'm wounded. I'm not wounded, sorry, I'm damaged. But
yeah, so your parry was 4?
yes.
Yeah, okay, so this is 9, 11, so that will not connect with you. So the one that kind of really dealt you quite a vicious blow kind of comes in afterwards and enthused, but you can fight that one off. You're getting pushed back towards the pig iron, so your footing, if you keep getting pushed back, is going to start to become a little bit harder as you kind of hit the ridge where the sandpit is. The other one is a swing and a miss. Kind of comes around, tries to kind of duck around. If you spin him away, kind of like turn and get ready in adopting the crane, ready to fight back.
So I only have 2 left, right? One is dispatched,
currently...
and I've got 2 left. 2 left.
Yeah. There's one. There's one left.
Okay.
In fact, yes. Sorry. So the one that left had a go at you. Yeah. Sorry, I had.
All right.
mistakenly
Okay.
Given them 2.
That's okay. It's not a problem. The more the merrier, but just in a line is preferable, so I can mattock them in an orderly manner. Is it my go then to?
It is, yes.
To dish out some pain. Okay, let's do it. So that's one guy now, and there are more coming, but that's one guy.
Yeah, one guy. That's correct.
Okay, I'm going to save the 1 extra die for later, so I'm just going to do a normal attack on him. That's better. The 3 is cancelled, but I still get 16. But it's a great success.
16 great will not be is right. Yeah, 9 plus that is less than 16. So you hit.
So that means he gets 8, and as a bonus, I'll give him 7 as well, making it 15.
15. Single swing. Describe to us how the mattock connects with him and fells him.
So I tried to compose myself a little bit. So this was a bit more precision shots. I mean, come on, we're talking about a Mata King, okay? But it's still, I tried to make it a bit of a precision shot, just sort of across the body, just to dispatch him, get rid of him, and hopefully not cut him in half. If I didn't manage to do that, that's his loss. But...
Yeah. Okay. Great. Next round then. Gunvar and 3 of his guards are racing across, primarily towards you, Torg, because you're the one by the gong there, so attracted their attention. Sirk, you're continuing to kind of smash away, but you can see that the one that's come with a big hammer is going to have a go at it, but the other 2 have kind of like turned around, and you can see on their faces that they've assessed the situation and they possibly think that you may be a traitor, so they're kind of like starting to kind of move back to you, and where you are, Loftar, a couple of the men from Amund are kind of racing across to engage with you. Loftar and Torg, as you're assessing the battlefield warriors that you are, Sirk, you won't be able to see this tucked in the side of one of the smelters that you are. You see what you know to be the stone guard of Erebor flooding in to the top end, and are engaged in combat with the Gunvar's men that didn't come with him. And by flooding, there's like maybe a handful of them that you can see, but they have a reputation for being stout warriors, and they're starting to kind of like engage further down that way. So let's resolve Sirk first. So this guy is going to have a really good go at it. You can tell that the 2 people that have kind of like taken a pace back have realised that perhaps you are the imposter. So what do you want to do?
Where are we kind of situationally around each other?
So you're probably, so if you imagine you've got this towering 30-foot smelter to your right hand side, you've got essentially the wall of the hall in front of you, and a pipe that's about half your size, a big metal exhaust pipe coming through that you've been clobbering. The one who's got the big hammer is in front of it, about to swing down on it. There's 2 either side of him, and you're probably a little bit further back, having naturally just backed away a little bit further. So they're all in front of you. You're like in front of them.
I will angle myself so that I'm not going to get the blow from this thing if it blows when this guy hits it.
Yeah. Okay.
And instead stab my sword into the back of the one in front of me.
Okay, so
in fact, it won't be into his back, into his kidneys.
So let's just take a look at this. What I'm going to do then is I'm going to give those guys an insight roll to see whether they're... Is it insight? What's the insight in this circumstance? I'm going to give them an insight roll to see if they can judge your intent. So the one that you're going with is the one that's on your right hand side because you're right-handed. Yep. So he is going to make this roll. Does he have anything for insight? Not really. So give me like a stealth roll. Stealth or persuade or something of that. A riddle even, because you've been deceptive.
Persuade. I'll go with persuade. I've got dice in persuade.
Yeah, okay.
I'm going to spend... I got 12. I'm going to spend a point of hope to...
So this is a contested roll. So you're going against his insight. So so it's not against 14. So it's not against that fixed number. So I spend a point of hope may not guarantee it. It may also be useless. As in, you may have already beaten him. So it's your call whether you want to spend a point of hope or not.
I thought you were meant to tell us the target number.
I would. Yeah, for against a test, I'll tell you the target number, but in an opposed thing, I won't.
I will spend my point of hope to make my 12 into an 18.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Just because.
So you're gonna get to strike before he's able to respond.
Hmm?
Come on, Sirk.
Yeah. So you get to strike before he's able to respond.
Cool. So I get to hit him then.
Yeah.
Let's hit him with these die. Ooh, that'll be
Oh, what stance were you taking? Sorry, I should have established that.
Forward. I'm right up behind him.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so 17 great success, which actually, yep, that'll be
That'll do
11 damage.
Sorry, 11.
Yeah.
11. You stab him right, kind of like in his turn. He's like, what? And you kind of get him right in the corduroy. Kind of like down on one knee, just as the figure smashes his hammer into the pipe. And let's see how well he does. Moderately. That is 10, 16. So with all the damage that you guys have done to it already, he smashes. You can see he's kind of like, yeah, got it. Just as the exhaust gas come out, billow around, whoosh. And I'm gonna say that it does. Let's say.
You ever seen the Bone Collector?
No.
With the steam pipe in the basement, in the sewer. Basically, he's got to cook the skin off his face.
Him and all the ones around him as this kind of whooshes forward. You yourself take 3 endurance points, but they're all down. They're out of it. The one kind of like has just got burned. His skin's starting to peel off from the explosion. You all hear the rush and the roar of the fire, and the whole room gets lit up in this orange glow. Sirk kind of turns his face and kind of burns.
With my sword in the guy, I'm using him as a meat shield.
yeah, you're kind of like you've kebabbed. You got man at arms kebabs. Okay, so Torg.
Oh, we're still on this one.
Yes.
You've got this guy who you've already hit quite substantially, and then there's Gunvar plus 3 who will be with you next combat round. So what stance do you want to take?
Is this guy determined to stay engaged with me?
He's not very keen about it, but he feels almost like he's not got very many places he can go.
Okay.
He can see that the stone guard is kind of like coming down, and his other option is to go into the darkness.
Okay. These are evil men. Yeah, let's just dispatch them. I'll take a forward stance.
Yep. Okay.
And swing with my mattock. Three dice. Yeah. 11.
Smashes against his. No, he doesn't have a shield, so it hits.
Yeah, would be 10. I mean,
it hits.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I got a Tengwa, so I'm gonna go with how much damage I want to go with.
Sufficient. So describe how the magic smashes into the poor fellow.
Okay, so 16 damage. I mean, this is just he is being systematic about it. So I'm just gonna wade into him, and it's kind of like a series of blows about him until he's just a kind of quivering heap on the floor.
Systematic.
I just want to, as we're approaching festivities, and I apologize for taking a pause in a very serious game. When we come back to it in the future, I think we can do a drinking game on this episode. Whenever someone says "Mattock," you must take a shot.
Yeah, okay, but it only really kicks in during this scene. Although maybe there's a couple of bits during the garden scene.
Perhaps diplomacy may have been mentioned. So I think on diplomacy, obviously being the same thing, you take a half or small shot at it.
Yeah, no, I think.
What's the mattock with you? Mattock.
Diplomacy, you get a shot. Edit this bit out. Yeah.
I think I might have to.
Cool. Okay, he's down.
Okay, he is in fact down. Yes, and you see a couple of the bodyguards of Gunvar well, you see the bodyguards of Gunvar that are racing over almost steady their pace a little bit. Gunvar's now got ahead of that particular pack. He seems to be more enraged, but the bodyguards are a little bit. Maybe we don't, as it happens.
Let's see how this goes.
But they're still moving forward.
Okay.
Okay, so Torg is the wrong name. Loftar, you have got a couple more have come. One of them is the young fellow from the manor.
Sorry, kid, you made the wrong choice. Your night is not your night.
Let's. Okay. I think there's a corruption test to be had there, actually.
Yeah, you've bonded with this guy, and now you're going to matic him in the face.
Well, he has a choice. He can always run away. I'm trying to be intimidating. I can do a test for you. I can do oral, and I say, look, why don't you just do one? Yeah, I'm not being sort of overly vicious. I'm just trying to scare him off now, because it's kind of like, look, this is a big boys club now, and you clearly have a choice.
So you could use intimidate foe as your combat task if you were in forward stance.
Yeah, sure. Well, I'm in open stance, so I would have to change stances.
Yes.
I can do that before we proceed, right?
That's your action. So you can change stance, yes. So you start by changing stance, and that would be the equivalent of your action. So you don't get to swing.
Yeah. No. Do I still get to do intimidate foe then if I've changed my stance?
You would change your stance to forward, yes, and then you would use the task intimidate foe.
That's fine. I mean, intimidate foe I think only works for one person, and that means just chipping away at their hate points, or is it just a more general type of?
Yeah, spread around the people around you.
Oh yeah. Let's go with that. Yeah, because I don't feel like, causing immediate violence to him is the best course of action. I will just take your chance now and flee, filthy man.
So make an or a battle.
Or battle. I would like to go with battle, please.
And because you had one. Hold on. Yeah. Okay. Because you had one kind of like spoken to this kid about all your achievements in battle, and have just sliced up the others. Roll the feat dice twice.
Yes.
And take the highest.
And you make a wise decision now, otherwise you will meet your maker. Do you have a maker? I mean, I'm sure they have a maker. I've got 3 on the feet. I'm re-rolling that now.
This is how Loftar fights, isn't it? It's just a stream of consciousness. Nobody's quite sure if it's more disconcerting.
I will hit that one and then follow it up with hitting this one. And then
Do you have a maker? I'm sure you have a maker. You must have a maker. You're going to meet your maker.
Yes.
Is it more disconcerting for his allies or his opponents? That's the question.
This is much better now. I'm really much impressed. So I'm just puffing my chest even as well as I speak. Or actually, I'm shouting at them. Sorry, because I have to contain myself because I got kids, so I can't really shout, and I will be shouting.
Is this Loftar or Matt?
Both of us.
They blurred.
Yeah, for the session. Yeah, I mean, I'm here. 100% of the
Loftar
games.
has kids. Oh, you named an heir. That's right.
Oh, he's got loads of kids. He's no idea where they all are.
25.
25.
Extraordinary success. 25 extraordinary success.
So
I would like to think. I don't want to give you put ideas into your mouth, Paul, but he may have shot himself, or something of that.
What's your valor rating?
It's only 2, measly 2.
Okay, so you do 4 hate points worth of intimidation to them.
Yes.
So I spread that around them. Anyway, see fit.
Can I ask a technical question on that then, Paul?
Yeah.
Is that a very much local effect, or would that affect like a faction, or I mean, anyone can hear it? I mean, like, what I mean, if someone is.
So it'd be contextual. So if people have to be able to hear or to see that kind of thing.
Yeah.
so you couldn't do it through to the other side of the rock wall, for instance.
Of course.
We're basically doing this as 3 separate combats, really, aren't we?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's only going to affect your foes.
Yeah,
Sure.
right.
But for the future, basically, I could intimidate a group of foes. So let's say we're all together, I could intimidate the shit out of
Intimidate
the...
all
you
of
could
them.
intimidate everybody.
Yeah, so
Oh,
what happens
That's,
is you make your roll. The quality of your success determines how many hate points you deduct from those around you.
Yeah.
And then I assign those hate points based upon what I feel is fair and proportionate within the combat.
Excellent.
Playing by the rules of the narrative. So you've done 4 hate points worth of damage. These characters only have 2 hate points each anyway, so they drop their weapons and they kind of like surrender, back away, and kind of like just head off to the side of the combat. Kind of like, oh, shit, this is too much for me. You've shaken their morale so much. Ammon, you see, going, if you've got a job to do, you've got to do it yourself. He kind of like turns and kind of like takes steps forward towards you. So that is you, Loftar. So I think we are top of another round now. So Sirk, you have been engulfed in kind of like flame, which is now flamethrowering it because the forge is still generating its exhaust gas and it's just burning off. Burning off there. Out like that. It's like an oil refinery on the go.
Have I done more damage than any of the men would have done?
That is an interesting question that I'm fairly certain you may be having to answer at some point in your near future.
It was the part that had been repaired before.
Oh, there will be inquiry into that.
Job of repairing it.
I'm certain. At some point, we'll have persuade rolls to see how well you're good at how good you're doing that. So
we will open an inquiry into that.
Yeah. Can I make my way? Am I able to make my way to the next lot of combat that's closest to me?
So you step out from the smelter and you see the figures drop their weapons and backing away from the pile of bodies at the feet of Loftar. You see kind of a figure kind of just sprawled, a human figure sprawled back, kind of cradled in the gong that Torg has kind of like smashed out there, and Torg is getting ready. He's like eyeing Gunvar, who's racing across with a couple of his figures. Then he glanced down to where there's a much bigger brawl, and the Stone Guard have dealt with the Gunvar's men at that side, either taken them into custody or what have you. You can't quite tell, and are now moving at a steady, considered pace down. They have no need to rush and race. They're moving with combat tactics, essentially.
I will go for the bodyguards that are approaching Torg slowly.
Okay, so
or less encouraging. So I will make my way in that direction.
Okay, so it'll probably be the round to kind of like get across to them. They're racing across to be with Torg. Okay.
It's just in case if Torg doesn't basically just dispatch Gunvar straight away, and they decide to get a bit handy, I want to be in there to kind of stab a few more kidneys.
Yeah. Okay. Understood. So, Torg, Gunvar is going to arrive at you, and he's pulled out a very fine-looking, reasonably well-made longsword that he's got kind of almost in both hands. It does look like he has experience of using it. It doesn't look like he's a total dandy.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
You can. It's just my video is completely frozen.
Okay,
so I want to. You can see me.
Yeah, you're moving.
It must be coming back, right? Yeah, my Discord's frozen. Doesn't matter. So I want to assume whatever stance allows me to challenge adversary. I did have it up on screen, but I can't.
Challenge adversary is not in the core book.
Yeah.
I'll have a look. I've got all this stuff open here.
If you could take a look, that would
forward stance. You choose one foe. I remember that from Alleric days. You remember? It's you roll feet dice twice. you choose a foe, you both sort of lock into combat, you choose your feat dice, and, well, roll it twice, choose the one you want, and he has the same advantage against you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so forward stance. It doesn't cost a task, so I don't have to, an action, so I don't forfeit my
that's right.
Attack. And obviously I'm going to choose Gunvar. I get to roll the feat die twice, and he gets to do the same.
Yeah, challenge adversary. So don't forfeit your attack. You're in forward stance, which is the 6th one, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a pretty good, well tested method by our friend Alleric.
Alleric was there first, I think. Alleric did it before it became.
Yeah. It's.
I heard it's called Alleric.
It's called the Alleric Maneuver. Yeah.
Or Alaric's Gambit, I think you could say, because it's a bit of a risky bit, you know.
Alaric's Gambit. That's it's renamed. If it's not called that in 2nd edition, I'm gonna go edit the books.
Yeah.
Email to Free League. Okay. Yep. Cool stuff.
So that's forward stance.
Yep.
Do I get to attack now?
Yes, you do.
Okay, so 3 dice and 2 feet. Both feet dice came up with a 10, which is my edge rating.
Hello.
I've got 2 6s as well, so 2 Tangwas, 24, right? So 24 extraordinary success.
Off with his
please.
head.
So that's double XG. So it's damage. You double your damage.
Yeah. So that's going to be. So that's going to be 6. That's going to be 22 damage to Gunvar.
And an edge test.
And an edge, yeah.
Okay, so let's give him the edge first. What's your injury rating?
8.
18 on the mattock, yes. It might be Pop Goes the Weasel.
He got a 19 on the dice.
Oh, okay.
He goes down under the swing, but you haven't cleanly killed him. So endurance actually doesn't. So for the named and important, in the same way that you guys get taken out, you've taken him out. So describe to us the swing.
Okay, so I'm gonna definitely twirl my mattock in a kind of, like Aragorn leading the companions into battle. I'm gonna lock eyes with Gunvar and heft it above my head. Maybe I feint a little bit as I come towards him because he's I'm guessing he's a good swordsman. So there's a bit of feinting to this side and then that before I kind of swing it round and come up, clattering him in the torso.
And you kind of completely swing through him and kind of lift him off the ground. He tumbles forward over your mattock, landing flat on his back, completely, head smacking against the rock of the floor. Sword spills across the ground, and from Lord Gunvar of Ashbrook's point of view, the world fades to black. The Stone Guard quickly mop up the rest. They are wary of you, pull you together as if they're not quite sure who you are. Gunvar is brought around and restrained. Orders are barked. Casuals are treated. You're being treated with suspicion and concern. And then the atmosphere of the room changes. The forges seem to glow more intently. The fire that Sirk caused burns more ferociously. The dwarves stand taller and prouder, armed with his axe, bearing the mithril crown atop his head, and watching the scene with an intensity of gaze that strips away any and all layers of pretension, stands Dane Ironfoot, king under the mountain. I see you, Gunvar, Lord of Ashbrook, and I name you enemy. I see you, Lord Torg, son of Tordek, Loftar, son of Balin, and you whose name is not known to me. You bear the cloaks of my enemy upon your backs, and surely you have not entered these halls by proper means. Have them brought before me so that I may see them more clearly, lit by the fires that burn in the heart of our lands. You're taken by hands that are like vices, pulled along with Gunvar into the presence of the king. He stands before you silently, just watching and evaluating. At that moment, one of the stone gods steps forward and pulls off his mask. Balin is revealed. My king, my humble apologies for the deception, but the reports of my demise have been greatly exaggerated. The third of this company is Sirk of the Blue Mountain, and he and Torg and Loftar have been my agents in bringing to light this foul conspiracy that you have seen this day. The king and the rest of the guards were astonished, visibly moved to see Balin alive. Have the outsiders put in chains and release our kinsman to me. The guards stop, look to the king. He nods his assent. He considers. All present shall come to the great chamber of Thror at once and explain themselves. The stone guard grabbed to move you. Balin presents himself to Dane once more. My king, please let us assemble in the great hall of Thrain, here in the lower halls. I know you don't favour the place where the dragon used to sleep, dreaming of the butchery he committed against our kin. But what we have to discuss is not well suited to our hall of feasting and council. A moment's hesitation. Dane accepts the proposal, and you assembled, march through the great entrance of the first forge, through the wide corridors that are more accustomed to the movement of pig-iron than prisoners, and into the vast chamber of the great hall of Thrain. It is dark and uninviting, poorly lit, noises echo off into the cavern. A coldness settles upon you, and you just feel small, like flickering stars in the vast firmament of the sky. You know that this is where Smaug rested. You can feel the tingling of the power that seeped into the stones. You also know that the antechambers here house the King Thorin, restful repose with the Arkan stone laid upon his breast. Dane stands regally. You're separated from Gunvar, with Balin as your protector. Dane stands and watches you. Watches Gunvar. And watches you. And then we'll take a break. So
that was ace.
Yeah, so that so we'll take a break now, and I suspect I will actually call that an episode. The next episode may well be quite a bit shorter than normal, but we'll call that an episode. So, end of episode 13, which I hope everybody enjoyed. As ever, leave comments and such like for us. It's really good to get everybody's feedback. Really appreciate hearing your thoughts and whether it's what you want. I know that at times we can be a little bit irreverent and perhaps not entirely faithful to the material, but we are just a gaming group playing the game. So this isn't intended to be like a scripted or a massive dramatic thing. We're just trying to have fun playing a game that we enjoy. Thank you very much for watching.